Be careful when stepping into Las Vegas, for with every step you take, it could be another chance to lose yourself. This place is not just a city of lights, of dances, and the never-ending sounds of slot machines. This is a place where you can live a night like an emperor and wake up with nothing left in your pocket. It's a place where you can touch the illusion and let it burn away everything left of your sanity. They call it the Sin City, not because of what you do, but because of what you are willing to sacrifice to do it. Behind that glamorous facade lies another world, where homeless people huddled behind the casinos, girls trapped in dreams of a better life, and lost souls with no way back. In this documentary, we will step beyond the neon lights to look at the truth behind the card games, the drinks, and the shattered dreams. To see that Las Vegas is not just a destination, but a sweet trap that America has laid out for its own residents. When night falls on the Las Vegas Strip, the neon lights continue to flicker tirelessly. Inside the gilded casinos, the sound of slot machines rings out like a lullaby for those nurturing dreams of a better life. But if you turn the camera angle to look down the alleys, instead of the dazzling lights from the casinos, you will see a completely different scene. People curled up tightly in tattered blankets, covered in desert dust. Some have just crawled out from the stinking sewer after each flood season. Or even the makeshift huts built from scrap wood, metal, and torn tarps, patched together like their own lives. Fragile, temporary, and completely forgotten. Las Vegas was built in the heart of the desert. And maybe that's why it so easily swallows those who slip. Here, you don't need a storm to wipe someone out. Just one misstep is enough to be buried beneath the golden sands of lavish promises. As of early 2025, more than 8,000 people in Las Vegas are living without stable housing, an increase of over 20% compared to the same period last year. Those numbers may seem distant, but behind them are real flesh and blood people. The media often confines them to phrases like mental illness or vice, but rarely mentions that they once had stable jobs and lives. They were once hotel staff, receptionists, drivers, serving in the tourism industry that brought billions of dollars to the city each year. But after the pandemic, the housing crisis, and double inflation, they were the first to be pushed to the fringes of society. When you look up at the casino lights, Las Vegas still shines like a sparkling jewel in the heart of the desert. But if you look down at those dark alleys, walking through the dimly lit streets after 8 p.m., you will gradually see the rough and ugly hidden corners of the city becoming clearer. Each step through the dark corner of the street is another crack, a fragment in the ashes of dreams long burned to cinders. No one steps into the American dream with the desire to end up in a junk truck or a filthy corner of the street overflowing with trash. But when even those who once contributed to building this city can no longer stay, is Las Vegas still building the dream, or just holding on to its image, while the very soul has long since crumbled? Las Vegas is not only known as the City of Lights. For many people, it is also a place where they can forget who they are, and sometimes they never find themselves again. When the city lights up, people often see the dazzling buildings, the stages filled with music and light. But behind those curtains, there are women whom the lights never shine upon. They step out at night, caught between the brink of freedom and necessity, where choices are not always voluntary. Although few people expect it, the night industry is illegal in Clark County, where the city of Las Vegas is located. In fact, only a few remote rural areas of Nevada allow for legal and regulated activities. But in Vegas, which welcomes over 38 million visitors each year, escort services, often promoted through flyers, electronic billboards, or underground websites, still quietly infiltrate the nightlife, becoming an inseparable part of the smoke-free tourism industry. Some people were once dancers, waitresses, hosts, or simply single mothers making a living in the shadows of the city. none of them started with a desire to be part of the game. It all starts from something very familiar: the struggle for a living. And when forced to choose to live in the shadows, the first thing they lose is the right to protection. Las Vegas calls itself a place of choice, but for many women, choice has long ceased to exist. Some stepped into the nightlife industry just to cover one more month of rent. Others simply couldn't raise their kids on a part-time paycheck. They wear short dresses, heavy lipstick, and a smile like a mask. But their eyes are always fixed on the ground. No one really knows what they feel. No one knows where they sleep after their shift ends. And because they vanish into the night, it's hard to see them when the sun comes up. In a city where luxury is built on emotions, bodies, and illusions, these women are the nameless fuel for the never-ending entertainment machine. But when the lights go out, they have no stage to return to. Only temporary rooms, filthy street corners, and sometimes the streets. Las Vegas prides itself on being a place where everyone can be anyone. But in a city where women are consumed like products, choice is sometimes just an illusion. We are living in an era where their presence is taken for granted, until they no longer have the strength to exist. And if those women disappeared from the streets tomorrow, would anyone truly realize that a part of this city's soul had vanished with them? Do we still know how to appreciate real people? Or do we only know how to seek a comfortable role for ourselves in an increasingly indifferent world? Every year, more than 38 million tourists flock to Las Vegas. They come for the promises: lights, music, top-notch performances, unlimited freedom, an escape from reality. But what few people mention is, who is standing behind to make that dream come true? They are the people who live behind the scenes, behind the dazzling stage lights of Las Vegas. Every day, they take 2 buses across the desert just to be on time to mop the casino floors, change the sheets in the luxury hotels, or serve cocktails to guests dreaming of victory. Many of them, especially elderly women and immigrants, live several miles from the Strip, in makeshift lodgings where each night is a battle against the harsh heat, soaring bills, and even invisibility. Las Vegas operates like a dream factory, but that dream is only for those with money. The poor are the producers, and the rich are the consumers. And when that machine encounters a glitch, like during the pandemic or when rental prices skyrocket, the first people to be thrown out are the ones who helped build it. In 2025, the cost of renting a studio in Vegas exceeded $1,400 per month, an amount nearly equal to the entire monthly salary of a low-level service worker. But that's just the beginning. On top of that are the utility bills, gas money for commuting to work, health insurance costs, if they are lucky enough to still have it, and the ever-increasing food prices. Just a single unexpected medical visit can push them into debt. A loaf of bread now makes them consider it as if they were buying a luxury item. When the choice is reduced to paying rent or buying food, paying bills or buying medicine, many people have chosen to leave their fate in the hands of life. They left their small rooms to move into tents by the roadside. We often see the homeless as a problem, but if we take a step back, we might see something even more frightening. They are not outsiders of the system, but rather the very backbone that once constituted this prosperous economy. The most heartbreaking paradox of Las Vegas does not lie in the light, but in the contradiction of how it is ignited. The poor are the fuel for the luxury, yet they are not allowed to touch the light they have helped create. We call this place the city that never sleeps. But have you ever wondered how many people don't even have a bed to lie down on? And when a city is left with only 2 types of people, the dreamers and those awakened by the truth, does that dream still remain a shared dream? Or is it just a grand stage where oblivion has become the ticket price? Las Vegas was not born for you to stop and reflect. It is designed for you to forget. Forget time, forget age, forget even the worries of tomorrow. Each step on the strip feels like being hypnotized by the flashing neon signs, the resonating music, and the life-changing dreams, always ready in a game of chance. But in that very oblivion, there lies a bitter paradox. This city thrives by erasing things that no longer fit the image it wants to maintain. In Las Vegas, everything is glamorous, until you turn into a small alley or step off the main boulevards. Just a few miles from the strip, there are run-down motels where workers are struggling to get by. They are not tourists, they are the ones who built this city. But day by day, their presence becomes more and more blurred. Like the shadows behind the wings of a performance, no one notices, but without them, the stage would collapse. In the midst of the brightest lights of America, there exist the darkest lives. There are elderly women working night shifts in luxury hotels, but they have to sleep in their cars because the room rates are too high. And sadly, it is those very people who once shouldered the entire entertainment and tourism industry who are the first to be forgotten when the city is forced to adapt to the post-pandemic crisis and prolonged inflation. We are living in a strange era where value is measured by surface shine rather than substantial foundation, where a cocktail can be sold for the price of a week's worth of groceries for a family living off the strip, and where success seems to be measured by the ability not to look down, not to see the increasingly expanding dark corners beneath one's feet. This city was once dubbed the entertainment paradise. But the question arises, if to maintain that paradise, we have to turn a blind eye to the suffering of thousands. Are we preserving the American dream? Or is it just a well-staged illusion? Is Las Vegas developing? Or is it simply learning to coexist with oblivion? And when a city chooses to forget the people who built it, does it still retain its own soul? Or is it just a layer of glittering paint covering values that have long been reversed? Not all homeless people in Las Vegas sleep on the sidewalks. Some have disappeared from the surface of the city. If you go far enough behind the casinos, where the lights no longer shine, you will see manhole covers marked with spray paint, concrete cracks leading down to another world. Beneath the streets of Las Vegas lies a labyrinth over 600 kilometers long, a flood control sewer system designed to drain water during sudden rainstorms in the desert. But today, it is the final refuge for hundreds of people, those who no longer fit into the world above. They live in darkness, lighting up with candles or flashlights powered by old batteries. Each person has a small room between the cold concrete walls, where just a heavy rain can cause the water to rise to waist level, sweeping away everything, both belongings and dreams. For them, the earth is not just a shelter. It is a place to disappear. From shame, from pitying looks, and from unanswered questions. The rare rains in Vegas can cause severe flooding, but many still accept that risk, because above, there is nothing left to keep them there. This underground community is known by many names: mole people, tunnel dwellers. But they are not characters in a science fiction movie. They are the clearest evidence of the failure in housing, welfare, and mental health policies. They are the ones society has stopped trying to understand and now only knows how to avoid. Las Vegas always prides itself on being sleepless, a 24/7 city. But underground, sleep is the only thing that helps those people escape reality. The only thing is, every time they wake up, they are still lying in the cold concrete, in a world where above them, people continue to pour thousands of dollars into slot machines, unaware that right beneath their feet, there lies a person who once played the violin in the casino orchestra or served drinks at grand parties. So what should we call this place? A two-tiered city? A two-faced society? Or simply a testament to the fact that when there is no more space on the surface, people are forced to bring their dreams down to the depths. And one final question, not just for Las Vegas, but for all of America. If there were a city where people had to live underground to survive, what would the light on the surface mean? Las Vegas is a place where you can blow 10,000 in just one night, and no one looks at you as if there's anything wrong. In a city built on no regrets experiences, what you lose is often seen as part of the game. But what happens when the cost is no longer in the wallet, but in the very people themselves? We often talk about Las Vegas as a money printing machine, but few ask, who is refilling the ink? And how many people have been worn down to the bone to keep that machine running? According to a local study, in 2025, nearly half of the service workers in Las Vegas cannot afford to rent housing near their workplace. While luxury hotel chains are rising along the Strip, the number of weekly motels, temporary accommodations without formal rental contracts, has also surged at the outskirts of the city. That's where you can see a former chef who once catered high-end weddings now reheating dinner with a personal kettle, just a few miles away from the glitzy stages. The paradox here is that the very people who create the dream of Las Vegas are not able to afford to live in the city they are building every day. They are the nameless hands, the faces that don't appear in travel brochures, but without them, Vegas would not be able to operate. From the shuttle driver who takes tourists from the airport to the hotel, to the laundry staff behind the scenes, each person is a cog in the enormous machine called non-stop entertainment. Not everyone who comes to Las Vegas gambles, but the children who grow up here. They have no choice. In many neighborhoods, just a few miles from the Strip, high school students say they learned about escort services before they even knew how to write a job application. Some children see their mothers working 3 jobs a day, but still not earning enough to move out of the damp rented room. Others live with their grandparents because their parents have fallen into the spiral of unemployment or the unnamed entertainment industry behind the big hotels. Not every child goes downhill, but maintaining faith, direction, and even innocence is a much harsher journey, when around them is a world where right and wrong are not clearly defined, but replaced by the concept of acceptable. The moral grey area doesn't immediately stifle a generation, but it gradually erodes the ability to believe in what is right. And when a child has to learn to doubt all the values around them to survive, do they still have a chance to dream, or simply learn how to survive? There is a Las Vegas that the previous generation still remembers very clearly. A small city in the desert, where people knew their neighbors' names, where laughter came not only from slot machines, but also from family dinners, church services, or conversations on the porch as evening fell. That was a Las Vegas where the American dream was not displayed behind glass like a luxury item. But it is something you can build, with your own hands, with a stable job at the hotel, with a small house, bought through savings, and with the belief that tomorrow your children will live better than you do today. But Las Vegas in 2025 is different. Not because it has disappeared, but because it's no longer meant for those who once built it. A city that was once warm has now become strange, glamorous, and cold. A place where the brighter the light, the deeper the dark corners. Ask an elderly person who has lived here since the 70s, and they will tell you about the time when a family only needed one income to get by. They will tell you that back then, Las Vegas, despite being the city of entertainment, still had order, discipline, and a sense of community. Children could play in the park. The elderly can sit and read the newspaper in the shade. Values such as hard work, saving, and responsibility were once esteemed, not burdens. Nowadays, many of them live huddled in dilapidated low-cost apartments, eating frugally on welfare benefits, while looking around at million-dollar buildings, luxury cars, and week-long festivals. Some others no longer have a home to return to. They sleep on benches, by the roadside, or even in abandoned parking lots, in the very city they once helped build. What pains them the most is not the material loss, but the distortion of the spirit of Las Vegas. The human touch, fairness, and hope have given way to speed, profit, and coldness. Many of them have witnessed young people losing their way. They see their grandchildren born into a society that no longer clearly distinguishes right from wrong, and surrounded by distorted role models from the media. They silently asked each other, how did we get this far without realizing it? Each foundational value, neighborly love, empathy, the bond among people, has gradually been replaced by things that can be valued, that can be sold. Even time has become something to be consumed, crammed into performance schedules, show tickets, and experience services. Las Vegas, quite literally, has rebuilt its entire image on forgetfulness. Forgetting that behind every show, there are dozens of technicians working in the shadows. Forgetting that behind each luxurious suite is a middle-aged woman cleaning 20 rooms a day on minimum wage. Forgetting that the city is not what is illuminated, but what exists when the lights go out. And perhaps the scariest thing is not that we are losing an old friendly Las Vegas, but that we are gradually accepting a Las Vegas with no room for memories. There is no longer room for the people who built it, and there is no longer room for the truth that what once made a city livable cannot be replaced by artificial lights or remix music in a casino. Las Vegas, in the memories of many, was once a place to start anew, a promised land for those who dared to dream and dared to act. But today, that place is turning into a cracked mirror, reflecting not only the dazzling lights of the stage, but also the fading colors of the values that once upheld the American dream. A city is not only built by skyscrapers or glamorous casinos, but by ordinary people, servers, drivers, single mothers cleaning hotel rooms at midnight. When those people are pushed to the margins, with no home to return to, no dreams to pursue, then the lights are merely a layer of makeup covering the empty truth. Is there a city or a country that can truly develop when the very people who built it cannot even survive within it? Have you ever lived, worked, or had relatives in Las Vegas? Do you notice the changes that are gradually happening? Please share your story in the comments section. Because, who knows, your memory might be a reminder for us that there are things that should not be forgotten. If you find this content valuable, please like, subscribe, and share the video so that more people can listen and reflect. Press the bell to not miss the next documentaries, where we recount true stories for those who have never been heard. This video is built based on information compiled from the press, public documents, sociological research, and non-profit organizations. All images in the video are for illustrative purposes only. The content is not intended to criticize any individual, organization, or government, but rather to open up a space for dialogue on social issues. We encourage the audience to think critically, engage in civilized dialogue, and together preserve memories and values so that no one is left behind in America's journey of change.